Over the summer of 2018, I practiced for what I believed was my best national freestyle ever. Thinking back on the trip, I faced a roller coaster of emotions. When building a routine, lots of challenges need to go right. First, you need to find good music that is appropriate. Then next, you have to choreograph a freestyle to your own tricks to the music of your choice. It's a process that takes most months to prepare. Being a typical college student, I spent the next 2 weeks before the contest preparing. I finally found a song that I was proud of, but practice-wise needed a lot of work. At some points, deadlines come and it was time to go to nationals. So I left for A to Z, where I met the yo-yo team I practiced with. We hopped in a van, and then we began our trip to nationals. We took off for Chicago with a packed car. It was an amazing time getting to hang out with everyone. Everyone was super excited and full of energy. We played games on my friend's Switch and talked about our routines. I was still excited for nationals. No feeling of pressure was overcoming me yet. We ended up stopping in Buffalo for a night, then leaving early the next morning to pick up a friend and a fellow yo-yoer named Colin in Ohio. He rode with us to the contest in Chicago. Once we arrived in Chicago, it was time for the crazy contest to begin. In order to have the ability to perform my final, I first needed to qualify. To qualify, I needed to perform a 90-second routine that would land me in the top 15 places out of 80 plus competitors. When practicing, you mentally prepare yourself as much as you can, because when you're on stage, there's no telling what could happen. You need to be cool and progress forward as best as you can. On this day, it was really hot and I was nervous because my style of play doesn't fare well in the heat. I kept practicing over and over, and other yo-yoers would enter. I would enter my room and leave. At this point, I was really getting nervous and trying to prevent my body from shaking. Eventually, it was my turn to compete, and I was announced as being on deck. I walked onto the stage of the National Yo-Yo Contest, and it sure was amazing. It was a small venue, but all the seats were filled, and you could feel the energy of the crowd. Throughout the day, the crowd was screaming for everyone, which is an amazing feeling. I was nervous for sure, but knowing my time had come, I had to shut off my brain and let the instincts kick in. Graham Steller, a good friend of mine, and the MC, he greeted me and hyped up the crowd. Then he yelled my name, signaling it was my time to begin. The music blared and I began yo-yoing my heart out. On the first throw of my routine, my yo-yo snagged and the whole crowd was like, "Aw." It was the best and worst thing that could have happened to me competitive-wise, because right when that mistake, all of the nerves and focus left my body and I blacked out mentally. I knew I finished strong because I remember hitting the last tricks and the audience screaming out of the ring. After performing, I walked to the audience to see everyone else compete. I knew my time was done and there was nothing I could do but watch everyone else's routines. Watching everyone nail the routines really puts doubts in your head whether you deserve to make the finals. When the final competitor finished, he walked off stage and Graham Steller walked out to announce the results. Lots of people think performing on stage is the most nerve-wracking thing at a competition, but in truth, the most nerve-wracking thing is hearing the results being called. At this time, my hands were shaking and all doubts flew into my head. Graham went on to name a great name by a great name. First place, second place, third place. But then, in 8th place, Graham yelled my name. All the emotions entered my body: relief, happiness, excitement. I was shook. It was a crazy experience, and now I have the opportunity to show the world my tricks I have been preparing for a year.